Hello Exiles and welcome to a new video. So, I decided to record this video a bit sooner. This is update number 3 on my Impale Double Strike Champion Leaguestart. And why am I recording a video? Well, it's because of two things, and I'm gonna try and talk about it while I'll be showing you some gameplay on, for example, this canyon map. And yeah, these are currently the only two scraps that I'm testing as just foreman strategy, just trying out some stuff. And yeah, gonna talk about that after the map. And yeah, so why am I recording this video a bit sooner than I wanted to? The real reason is I finally figured out why I had such a problem with endurance charges during mapping. And it's an interaction that I'll explain right after the map. But thanks to the interaction, I actually had to drop my Replica Badge of the Brotherhood. Or maybe didn't have to, but I decided to drop my Replica Badge of the Brotherhood. And therefore I decided to almost completely redo the build. And look at this one. This one's giving me endurance charges. Well, maybe I'll save this one for later, even though I don't really need this mercenary. Yeah, but endurance charges is nice. I could drop my endurance charges on kill. Yeah. Insufficient gold? Fuck. I'll need to get back to him. Yeah, but just like I said, I decided that I'm gonna reshuffle the build a bit, and I'll actually disable the echoing shrine here so you can have a better picture of what the build looks like currently. And yeah, other than that, I am more tanky than I used to be, and I think in the end this version after the change definitely is gonna be more tanky, and I think in the end I'm maybe even gonna have more damage than I used to, or more damage than on the other version with Replica Badge of the Brotherhood, although I'm not sure. It might be a bit less damage, it might be a bit more damage, we shall see. We shall see. It kind of depends on what do I actually do with the skill points that I save, or with the things that I change. So, still kicking, still trying to figure out the build and make it better each and every single hour I'm playing it. And yeah, now I can finally comfortably clear tier 16s. And the thing is, why I decided in the end that I'll reshuffle the build is because I was sick of mercenaries just one-shotting me. I didn't have a problem with those attack-based mercenaries, but those spell-based mercenaries, basically any caster mercenary was just slapping your ass. Yeah, or is actually still, because there's still not a patch that would nerf him. At least there was one thing, but it was affecting, I think, was only one mercenary, and it was the Lightning Nova mercenary, which that one still one-shots anyway. So yeah, I'm still looking forward to the patch. And now I am trying to keep my spell suppression, because as I said, I had a problem with those specific spellcasting mercenaries. Oh, not so specific, basically any spellcasting mercenary was a big issue, and still kinda is a big issue, but now luckily with some spell suppression and lucky spell suppression, it's a lot better. So yeah, that was the map. I'm gonna get back to the mercenary right after. And now let's jump into the character itself. So first of all, the stats. And yeah, I'll just show you my accuracy on my double strike. Okay, so my accuracy is 92% or chance to hit, and against evasive that's 83. And you might be thinking, well, that is really low. You would be right, and especially with this new rune that auras from your skills which affect allies also affect enemies. So my enemies, not just that I have quite low hit chance, but they also have grace, my level 20 grace, so they have even more evasion, which means I have even less hit chance, right? But that gets bypassed as soon as I hit the enemy once, and with my attack speed I'm hitting a lot, so all I need to hit is to hit the enemy once, and then I proc my taunt on hit, and taunted enemies cannot evade attacks. So this basically fixes most of my accuracy issues, and normally a build on this low accuracy, especially strike skill and especially double strike, would feel really bad. It would just feel horrible. But with this noteworthy foe, it doesn't feel that bad. It feels normal, honestly. It feels normal because you're constantly taunting, you're constantly hitting thanks to the taunt because enemies cannot evade your attacks. So yeah, that's the accuracy here explained, or hit chance. Now, let's just talk about the defenses. I pumped up my armor and evasion a bit. So this is currently just standing in hideout with 28 fortification without flasks. And this is with flasks. And yeah, during mapping it's of course more because thanks to Master of Metal you're getting 1000 flat armor. So it's actually a lot more armor. They're quite balanced. To my perseverance, for my perseverance, and as you can see I've got 47% chance to suppress spell damage, which is great. And yeah, unlike in my last video, I'm actually res cap, just by the way. And -4 chaos, still working on that. But yeah, 47 spell suppression chance currently, plus lucky spell suppression chance. And if you don't know what lucky means, that means basically that it rolls twice, which, let's say you get hit by, I don't know, fireball, that's a spell. You get fireballs flying on you, and before the damage is applied, the spell suppression actually checks if you suppress the spell damage. And what do I mean by rolling twice? I've got only 47% chance. So let's say a fireball hits me and before the damage is applied, it checks for spell suppression, my spell suppression doesn't go off, and normally I would just take the full damage, right? But with lucky, it means that if the first roll for spell suppression fails, then it rolls a second time. Yes, it is not guaranteed to roll the suppress on the second time, but you have basically twice the amount of tries for the spell suppression to activate, right? And that's the lucky mechanic in the nutshell. It doesn't work like that just for spell suppression. It also works like that. It works like that for other things, like for example, lucky damage with hits from my Prequel Stow on my Mercenaries amulet. So yeah, lucky means basically rolling twice. And yeah, so spell suppression, and that helps a lot. If you combine the spell suppression with 28 fortify, and now unfortunately just 3 endurance charges, then yeah, I even managed to survive some of the one-shotting mercenaries in tier 16 maps with those really pumped up 6 links they have. I managed to survive them, and yeah, it felt good to finally actually slap some mercenaries and don't get slapped by them. But still, it's still, I would say, even now, I need to get ideally 100% spell suppression. And even then, if I get 100% spell suppression, I think it still will be somewhat of a 50-50 if I am the one who's gonna win or if the Mercenary is gonna one-shot me. So, yeah. By the way, talking about the Mercenaries, I saw Fox fighting a Mercenary, and he's of course playing Righteous Fire, which means shit ton of life regen, a shit ton of fire res, and he was fighting this Flame Dash Mercenary that I was wondering why the hell is Flame Dash Mercenary one-shotting me all the time. And after I saw his Righteous Fire character getting almost killed by just walking over the degen from the Flame Dash, I wasn't surprised anymore that I am actually dying to that Flame Dash. So yeah, as I said in my last video, the only thing that is calming me down a bit with these Mercenaries is that actually other players that are even more tanky than my character are dying to them as well. So yeah, that's at least a bit calming. But yeah, so these are the stats. And now let's take a look at the items quickly. So in my last video, Paradoxica, at the end of last video I did the trade. So I've got Paradoxica, still the old sword, and I'm probably saving up for Savior. But I should really get an upgrade between Savior and this sword, because this is actually not bad. I bought this for 15C, I think, or something like that. Then still the old helmet, but I added implicits with mana reserve and reduced mana cost of attacks. And my body armor. I bought a 6-link. I bought just the base 6-linked. And then I start spamming essences for life. I can't remember the name, but yeah, essence for life. And I actually hit this exact body armor in the first essence. So I kept it. It had everything I needed. Armor, evasion, life, and double res. Everything I needed. Then still keeping perseverance. New gloves with spell suppress, some resists, and life. Armor evasion base again. And let's cover up the rings first. Just basic rings again. This one has strength and int because I need it for my enlighten that I'm gonna talk about in a sec. But yeah. And the other ring basically the same. This one has quite a lot of resist. I bought this one for I think 20C. Quite a lot of resists and some physical damage to attacks. And my amulet. This is the first amulet that I bought after I decided that I'm gonna switch from Replica Badge of the Brotherhood. So I was a bit sad. I didn't think about the amulet so much, so I just said, okay, I didn't have resists on my Replica Badge, and all I had on there was dexterity and intelligence on the implicit, so I'm gonna buy the same base with some damage stats, and that's just what I did. I just literally searched for maximum life, crit chance, and physical damage. Bought this one for, I think, 17C. And yeah, anointed intuition on that. And then now let's cover the boots, and let's talk about a bit more about the amulet. So yeah, the boots, I bought spell suppression, life, resist, movement speed boots. And again, armor evasion base. And why? Well, because since I decided that I'm gonna drop Replica Badge of the Brotherhood, then I really had no use. I had no real use for that +1 maximum frenzy on Dark Ray Vectors. Yes, it is giving you damage. Yes, it is scaling your evasion per frenzy charge. Yes, it is giving you movement speed per frenzy charge. But in the end, those boots, you can get much better boots with just some rare boots. And now with actually a boot slot free, I can put Eldritch implicits on my boots, and I don't have to have brittle on my mercenary anymore. I'm gonna apply it myself through the boots, so that's gonna be good. And also, yeah, since I dropped Replica Badge, I'm gonna get back that damage with probably amulet I am thinking about, and that's I'll quickly show you. That's Strangle Gasp. And if you don't know, it's this amulet. Give me a sec. Yeah, this amulet right here. If you've never played with this one, I would highly recommend it. It makes for some really interesting combos that I'm gonna talk about right now. And yeah, so Strangle Gasp. The main flavor of this item is just the fact that you can have 3 additional enchantment, which means that you can have up to 4 enchantments on this item. 1 base and 3 additional enchantments. And yeah, that's the main flavor. I'm not gonna talk about the options of corrupting them right now. Maybe in other video where I actually do it. I don't want this video to get too long. So yeah, that's gonna be Strangle Gasp. A bit basically twice as expensive as Replica Badge. But I might as well, before I get to the Strangle Gasp thing, I might as well explain why did I actually drop Replica Badge. And it is because it is actually, now when I think about it, it is actually quite simple. But I made a post about it on a bug page of PoE 1. And someone actually responded already. And the problem is, you can find the thread if you want to. It's Bug Reports Path of Exile. And yeah, it's, if you're gonna type in Fortitude Node or Replica Badge of the Brotherhood, you can easily find it, or I can actually leave the thread in the description if you want. Oh yeah, I'll probably leave the thread in the description so you can read it yourself. But the TLDR is what's happening in the interaction between Replica Badge of the Brotherhood. Replica Badge of the Brotherhood, I don't have it anymore, I sold it, but Replica Badge of the Brotherhood has that line of text where it says that you have a 20 to 25% chance to lose an endurance charge when you gain fortification. And I think what everyone, including me, thought in the beginning, in the theory crafting and all, that's not gonna take any effect, right? Because you have your fortitude from champion, which means you have maximum fortification at all times, which would mean that when you actually get an endurance charge with Replica Badge of the Brotherhood, you immediately jump up to your maximum fortification because your endurance charges are increasing your maximum fortification with the Replica Badge, which works fine. This interaction works, but what completely destroys it is Perseverance. And it's that one line of text here, melee hits which stun fortify. And it turns out that you can actually fortify yourself through maximum, even though it doesn't actually increase your maximum, or it basically doesn't do anything, but it's still, the calculation is still in the background that you're gaining fortify, which is proccing your chance to lose an endurance charge with Replica Badge of the Brotherhood. So that's why you lose endurance charges, or that's why I was losing endurance charges while I was mapping. And I didn't even think about this on the Perseverance build. Shout out to the person that made some post about it on the forum. I actually found it on the forum that it might be Perseverance, so I went ahead and tested it, and yeah, confirmed it and made the post yesterday. So yeah, this is what's causing it, and as far as I know, the real only way how you can disable your stun is actually by converting your damage to cold and freezing. And I'm not gonna do that with an Impale build, right? So yeah, the decision basically had to be made. Or maybe you could fix it by having endurance charge on melee stun support, which would mean that every time you melee stun with your double strike, you would have a chance to lose an endurance charge, but also you would have a 100% chance to gain one thanks to that support. So I think that endurance charge on melee stun is actually the only way to counteract that effect. It's not actually the only way, sorry. The other way would be getting lots of minimum endurance charges. And the third way would be getting Relic-ish Impatience with counts as on maximum for maximum endurance charges, I think. I didn't test that one, but I'm quite sure that will work. But yeah, so that was the reason. Either Replica Badge or Perseverance had to go, and I already knew that I just cannot drop Perseverance from this build because this is where all of my increased attack damage or increased damage scaling is gonna come from. Now I've even dropped the increased damage with swords here, so I really have like maybe 200 increased damage in general, and that's really low. I need to pump that at least to like 350, 400, and then it's gonna be, then I'll be happy. And that is doable with just better gear, and yeah, I'll just need to make upgrades. So yeah, sorry about this video being more just about the maybe unimportant stuff for you, but yeah, that was the gear. That was the why I did the switch. Now let's just talk about the gems. Enlighten, Grace, Pride. Yeah, I added Pride into the build, which is a lot more damage. So Enlighten, Grace, Pride, Determination. Enduring Cry, Urgent Orders, Life Tap. Frost Blink, Leap Slam, Life Tap, Faster Attacks. Enhance, Mark on Hit, Life Tap, Assassin's Mark. Life Tap, Molten Shell, Automation. And then finally, Double Strike of Momentum. I did a switch to Double Strike of Momentum. Multi-Strike, Volatility, Impale Support, Melee Physical, and Brutality. And I would recommend to use Volatility only if you have a Mercenary with Prequel's Toe. So yeah. Or maybe, yeah, probably yes. Other than Volatility, if I wouldn't have Lucky Damage, I probably wouldn't be using Volatility, and I would be using the... what's it called? The support based on proximity, works only with swords and close combat. Yeah, close combat. Close combat, this one. More melee damage to enemies, and also gives you more speed to travel skills. So yeah. That's the gem setup. And now let's quickly finish off with the skill tree. And just like I said, I did quite a lot of upgrades actually, because I've dropped awakened elemental damage with attacks from my first Minotaur map. And yeah, because it was Maven influenced. And with Maven influence you have a small chance to drop some awakened gems just from map bosses. And I dropped awaken ally damage with attacks, which was 4.5 divines. And I also found a Mercenary with really good two-handed axe, and thanks to everyone playing axes right now, I sold that over 800, something like 860 physical DPS axe for 4 divines. So I made some upgrades, bought Massive Thread of Hope with -10 elemental resistances. And yeah, I didn't have to buy -10. That's literally the perfect roll. It was 4 divines. If you get a worse roll, it can get up to 1.5 divines. So yeah, it is up to you. I didn't know then that I'm gonna drop Replica Badge, and my Dark Ray Vector, so I needed every resist I could use. So I bought this, but whatever, cost me 4 divines. I'm more than happy because I'll be reusing this probably on some other characters. But yeah, and that's what really enabled me to switch to the Double Strike of Momentum version. And with the attack speed, Double Strike of Momentum really feels good once you stack it up. So yeah, did the switch to Massive. And also bought a Lethal Pride. because I needed strength, and also on Lethal Pride I completely forgot, but you can get maximum fortification on Lethal Pride, and I didn't even mention that in none of my videos. So yeah, get definitely a Lethal Pride, and that's why I'm shifting into skill tree based more on spell suppression. And also, that's why I want to get Strangle Gasp. This is the whole reason of Strangle Gasp, because I'll be starved on points quite a lot, and I actually want to get lots of notables in this range of the Lethal Pride. So I can get Strangle Gasp with 4 anointments, and get a really good Lethal Pride, and basically allocate this node with Strangle Gasp, allocate this node with Strangle Gasp, or anoint, better said, and then just normally path my way through these points right here and here. And when I take all of these, I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 notables right here, an additional 2 more notables right here, and I'll be switching this cluster right here to the one right here. Basically get the same mastery, but get it right here, and it would be the same on the mana, actually. So yeah, all I would be losing by it is 10% increased effect of non-curse auras, which is a bit sad, but okay, and area of effect of aura skills. So yeah, but that will be more than worth, because I believe I can get really good Lethal Pride with like hopefully maximum 5 or 6 fortification in the radius of all these nodes. So yeah. But that'll be for next video, and hopefully no one's actually searching for these. So hopefully, so yeah. And just one more thing I wanted to say. I am glad that I've sort of found out or came across this problem with the Replica Badge and Perseverance, because it just again gave me another perspective on the build that I'm playing, and made me to do some changes, and I think I've figured out a better version than the Replica Badge of the Brotherhood. Even though the Replica Badge of the Brotherhood really just makes sense with all of the fortification scaling on champion now, and I think it would actually make sense, because you can still just, if you're playing a ranged build on a champion, you can still do it just fine with Perseverance. Perseverance is not scaling just melee damage, it's scaling general attack damage. So if you play ranged attack-based build, maybe even a Wonder, you get full benefit, and you can wear Replica Badge of the Brotherhood without basically any downside on a champion, because only your melee hits which stun fortify. Melee hits, not ranged hits. So all ranged characters, they can just they don't have to worry. But yeah, with this version, as you can see, I've got over 3k more, over 3k life, got basically something like 500 more life, and actually capping resists and all of this stuff will be much easier, since now I will have basically additional item worth of suffixes, and also I can anoint some stuff on the Strangle Gasp, because really the only 2 things that I am willing to anoint on the Strangle Gasp will be these 2, because these are actually useful, and this one's gonna give me evasion and all res, this one's spell suppression, and all of these I'm not willing to anoint just for +1 maximum fortification, if there would even be, because the notables themselves wouldn't give me that much. Maybe the blind, but even then, yeah, I don't think so really. But yeah, that'll be it. And after these 2, I've still got 2 more anointments, right? Which one of the anointments, which would probably be disemboweling for massive damage, and maybe Constitution, or maybe if I need to, I can just anoint some resist somewhere on the skill tree, and or maybe even maximum resists, and get more tanky that way. World is your oyster. But yeah, that'll be it for now. And of course, yet again, as always, I forgot about my mercenary. I actually tried and switched to a different mercenary. This one might be better than my last one because, as I said, I'm gonna drop my brittle ground myself. And my mercenary won't have to do it anymore. Eventually, when I stop being lazy and actually roll my boots. And yeah, so I tried a different mercenary. This one has brutal teachings, which is great for this build because what it says applies a short duration buff to nearby allies. Caustic impales they inflict to last for 1 additional hit, which is great damage for our build. And also, I thought that this mercenary might be doing some damage with all of these links he's got. So I even bought him some not really good, but decent one-handed weapons, each one for like 40 to 70 chaos. And unfortunately, this one just isn't as strong as I thought he will be. So maybe I just need to figure out a better gear for him. But yeah, honestly, I'm not surprised that he's not doing much damage because I don't even know how much crit chance does he have, or basically, we don't know any other than defensive stats, so it is quite hard to do damage. So, yeah, but eventually he might do some damage, I might look into it. I would ideally make some kind of hybrid between an aura bot and damage dealer. So, yeah, something like that would be my dream, but I guess we shall see. But other than the weapons, I bought an Oscarm because I wanted to, and I bought them with vulnerability, of course. I wanted the vulnerability mainly. That's just free damage, like I think almost 20% increased physical damage taken that the curse applies. And I bought him specifically on Oscarm because of the trigger a level 10 Assassin's Mark when you hit rare and unique enemy and have no mark. I thought this is gonna just free me a slot on my setup so I don't have to use my mark on hit and Assassin's Mark, but unfortunately I kinda missed that, but they actually don't trigger stuff. You cannot give them extra spells and they don't trigger stuff. And I'm not sure if people are somehow giving them extra auras. If people are, I don't know how, because I've tried to give him boots, I still got them somewhere maybe. Yeah, these boots, for example, I tried to give him Dorian's Delusion for grants level 25 Purity of Ice skill, and yeah, basically even when I give him the boots, it doesn't make any difference. He just doesn't cast the aura, and then I actually found something on Reddit maybe that this is intended and they're not supposed to give you auras. So if people are giving them, or yeah, making them give us an extra aura, I don't know how. I'll need to, I guess, try to figure it out. And yeah, maybe it just doesn't work. But other than that, pretty much the same. I think my old helmet, and the rest is his. He's actually got a good belt. And yeah, I bought 2 Dreadrus Deming for additional curses. I actually just need 1 now because all our curses are vulnerability and my Assassin's Mark at the moment. But yeah, eventually I want to get double corrupted gloves with probably Enfeeble and also vulnerability, of course, and Enfeeble for the damage reduction. But yeah, I am not bound to this mercenary. I am actually looking for a new one to change into. I might get back to the map for that one I left there, but yeah, that'll be finally it for the video. I hope I didn't forget anything. Yeah, I think that's it. That's for the update 3. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video, if you find it informative, if it actually helped you. And yeah, don't forget to stop by the stream. I'll be streaming tomorrow probably by the time that this video gets uploaded, I'll be already streaming. So yeah, if you want to just stop by the stream, ask any questions, and yeah, or if you want to hang around, be my guest. But now, thank you very much for watching, Exile, and see you in the next one.